It is the week before Easter. Today is the 7th. This is the MetaMentors with your hottest crypto news, the stuff that you need to know. Subscribe, comment, check the links below. We are going to run through these news articles 3 minutes or less. Watch us do it. Today, this week, we've got POGs making a comeback. The U.S. government acquires a shit ton of Bitcoin. Elon Musk pumps Dogecoin and replaces the Twitter icon. What's up? And ETH has the Shanghai upgrade in about a week. And the deflationary portion of ETH is going through the roof. And last but not least, Matt Damon's gotten an announcement and he wants to be heard.
Matt Damon.
So this is your week's news. Subscribe, comment, and let us know how we're doing. Check the links below. Not financial advice. So Ben, tell us about the POGs making a comeback. POGs making a comeback.
All right. For those of you that don't know, POGs are the collectible milk caps that were popular in the 1990s. The term POG originally referred to a brand of juice, which I didn't know. I don't think I even knew
you
back.
Say juice or juice?
Juice.
Watch your language. Okay.
I don't think I even knew this back in the 90s when I played POGs. I didn't know it until I went to Hawaii last year. And POG is a drink that has passion fruit, orange, and guava in it, which is what the POG stands for. I drank that. I learned that last year. But anyways, it was popular in Hawaii. The game of POG originated in Hawaii in the 20s and 30s when they'd have these milk caps and they would play this. But it wasn't until the 1990s that the game really took on the worldwide phenomena that we remember. So now a POG is a small cardboard plastic disc. It's about 2 inches in diameter. It's got a printed design on one side and a blank side on the other. The game is played by stacking POGs. So like if I was playing you'd put in 10, I'd put in 10. And then you have a heavy disc called a slammer. You hit the stack. Whichever POGs go face up, you get to keep those. Whichever ones stay face down, you restack and you hit it again. So the popularity of POGs reached its peak in the mid-1990s with millions of POGs of the actual little POGs sold worldwide. And they had tournaments like malls. They had them everywhere, those POG tournaments. They had them at wrestling tournaments too.
Recess. I remember having them at recess. Yeah.
So it was very popular, but eventually, like everything else, yo-yos, fidget spinners, all that stuff, the fad eventually died down, and now they're mostly just considered a nostalgic relic of the 90s. So a year ago, POGs got into Web3. They launched on the Solana blockchain, and they had a few collections of just collectible style. But they've been working on a game in the background, and Solana's not going to cut it for them. So today they're officially entering. Actually, today. What's today? April 7th.
The 7th. Okay.
April 7th. They're launching. They've got the thing going on right now. They've got their mint going on right now on the Ethereum network. So they got this new mint. Just so happens to correspond with the debut of their new online version of the POG slamming game that they've got. They're launching it right now as this is airing on the Origin Story NFT platform, which, by the way, I got into that a little bit, and that seems like a project we should look into a little bit more because they got all sorts of stuff.
I've been hearing the name come up more and more.
Yeah,
I agree.
Paris Hilton launched a collection on there. So
I'm in. That's good.
We follow Paris Hilton in NFTs. She knows what she's talking about. Anyways. 3,800 NFTs, including both POGs and slammers, with unique artwork for each one. And if you remember, that was like the best part about POGs was the picture. So I had Steve Urkel POGs, Power Ranger POGs. You get POGs from McDonald's with all the characters on them. They had everything. And that was the best part, was these limited edition cool POGs. So these NFT POGs will feature artwork like that, but they'll also have artwork from popular NFT projects like Bored Ape Yacht Club and Moonbirds. So they're doing the best to make as many people excited about this as possible. And it's a perfect project to combine the nostalgic collectability with the new NFT technology. They got this simple gaming experience from real life that will be enhanced with all the technology that Web3 and blockchain can offer. And if you remember, the original POG game was a play for keeps game. So you put in 10, I put in 10. If you flipped them over, you got to keep them. Doesn't matter if this guy's mom got him the POGs or whatever. It was like early gambling for kids. So the creators of this collection are talking about a potential play for keeps game that uses NFC chips within the POGs themselves that automatically transfers the tokenized ownership from the wallets when you win. So it would prevent a lot of the BS on the spot rulemaking. You know, POGs was pretty rough. There was a lot of cheating, and I think that kind of helped kill out the whole POG excitement as
Yeah.
fast as it came in, because it was very hard. In fact, I know you know Abe. If you ask Abe about his POG experience, it was over 20 years ago. He will still tell you the name of the kid who at a wrestling tournament, Abe beat him or whatever and got his, and that kid took all the
Of
POGs.
course.
And anytime we bring up POGs for whatever, if it pops up in a movie or whatever,
Steam
he
comes out of his
he
ears.
remembers that kid's name, and he has a terrible memory of POGs because of this one kid at a wrestling tournament 25 years ago who took his POGs. So tokenized ownership, obviously on the blockchain, would fix that, because there would be no
Good
chance for you
call.
to not prove your ownership. So they're also planning a real world release of physical POGs in the future to go along with their digital collections.
Speaking of steam coming out of your ears, you might have heard the US government has decided to get into Bitcoin. Well, not decided to, but they've acquired $5.6 billion worth of Bitcoin. And that's a total of 205,515 roughly Bitcoins. That's about 1%, a little more than 1% of the actual supply of Bitcoin. But they've done it through through seizures, 3 different seizures since 2020. The U.S. Marshals are the ones that have grabbed it and are now auctioning it. So as of March 25th, 2023, the U.S. government has acquired all this Bitcoin. On March 9th of this year, 9,860 of those Bitcoins, roughly 269 million bucks, they sent over to Coinbase, which is hilarious because the SEC is currently suing
Right.
Coinbase. So
Right.
it doesn't matter. They recognize they're still worthy to hold the Bitcoin, at least temporarily. So what does all this mean? So the US government is not going to hold on to this Bitcoin. They're not in the business of holding Bitcoin. So they're going to start selling this off. And the plan right now is to sell about $1.17 billion current value of Bitcoin in the year of 2023. They're going to do it in 4 different batches. They have not said exactly how they're going to go about doing it, because in the past, and like take 2014, the U.S. Marshals auctioned some off. Tim Draper, the famous billionaire investor, might have heard of him. He bought like a whole batch, like 30,000 Bitcoin, and then was able to buy a secondary batch of like 2,000. So like in 2014, he bought like 32,000 Bitcoin total for like around 19 million. Well, now it's worth like $900 million. So the concern with this is if the US government is seizing this Bitcoin for good reason, but then they're dumping it on the market, obviously that can cause a huge problem on the actual market itself. In the history of this, they haven't done that. They've actually auctioned it off to private investors in lump sums. That looks like that's what they're going to do in this case also, but they have not clearly come out and said that. They've only said they're going to dump it and they're going to sell it off in 4 different batches over 2023. So be prepared to see a lot of Bitcoin coming onto the market, or at least into private hands. And you might want to accumulate all the extra cash you got, because maybe you can go in on those big batches of Bitcoin auction, right? Me and you, Ben, we could go in
There
together
you go. Buy some government surplus Bitcoin.
on a
That
discount. What's
that
up? Give
would
it.
be like the government to, you know, whether it was righteous or not, to apprehend and confiscate this Bitcoin, but then also not be smart enough to just hold on to it and put it in the treasury. You know what I mean? Like, hold on, we got to get rid of this before the price goes up. We got to get rid of as much as possible so we get nothing from it.
If there's anything about the US government these days, they're unpredictable idiots.
Everybody's favorite meme coin from a couple years ago, Dogecoin, back in the news because, of course, the Doge father, Elon Musk, he owns Twitter now. He spent $44 billion so he could become the meme father as well. He just changed the logo on the Twitter website to a Doge, the dog, what is a Shiba Inu or whatever type of. Anyways, it's the Doge coin symbol is what the Twitter symbol is now, which of course leads everybody who holds any Doge or anybody who's got quick access to buy Doge, caused the price to go up about 40%. It went up from about 7 cents to a little over 10 cents. It hasn't done 10 cents in over 6 months. Everybody knows that Elon has the ability to move the markets, and it's not just because of stuff that he says. It's because any day he could go, we're now going to allow you to tip or to pay over Twitter with whatever crypto he chooses. And it's just there's no mistake what his favorite coin is, and it's the Doge coin. And so he's got, obviously the memes are flying. There's a lot of great pictures on the internet right now.
Yeah, I don't know how many different it was just a huge pump in information, right? Like I was watching different shows or whatever, and people were chiming in with that. Like it was distracting everybody. Also very interesting being that he's being sued for supposedly pumping Dogecoin also. So
right.
There's this whole dynamic, and man, Elon Musk has never wanted to back down on anything. Like he sees an opera, he's like, oh, I'm being sued. Let's have a little fun with this and change the Twitter icon. That he's ballsy, obviously.
Yes, he is. Yes. Here's my favorite. He posted that right after he changed the logo on the website. He tweeted out that, which, of course, then gets another gajillion views and a gajillion retweets. And so the dormant Web3 crowd that is just waiting for some activity in the Web3 industry, they live for stuff like this, and he knows it. And so he's the guy at the front of the crowd going like this and getting them all riled up. And so exciting because he still hasn't technically incorporated into Twitter or being actually using it with Tesla or anything that he does. But there's no doubt of the coin of choice for Elon Musk if he decides to go that route.
The e-supply deflation has recently hit a record high with a total supply drop of 1% in the last 30 days. That's impressive. Since September, when they went to proof of stake, it's dropped 63,287 ETH. So that's 63,287 ETH less in the market, less supply, more demand, price goes up. Shanghai upgrade coming around 1 week away. ETH is looking good, baby. I think I might have to fill my bag. Yeah, April 14th. Yes, sir. 1 week away. Might have to fill my bags a little bit more. And if they, we hit this just today, record high since last August. So I shouldn't say record. Highest ETH has been since last August. Today broke what, 1930, 1940?
Yeah, broke 1940. It's still over 1900 right now. So
yeah, and it's the next level is like just over 2000. So like it's 100, roughly about, I think it's 2030 bucks or something like that. It's $100 away from that next level. If it busts that level, sky's the limit. So man, ETH, Shanghai upgrade, deflationary since the proof of stake, it is working. Like it's happening. ETH looks so good. I'm still staying almost all Bitcoin, but I might have to deviate just a little bit into ETH. I like what's going on there.
Well, you should have some money laying around in some of the kids' college funds that doesn't need.
I already lost that.
Gotcha. Oh, you got that with your alluvium land? Dang.
Yeah. I put that on Bonk Coin. Was that not a good idea?
And finally, before we wrap up today, I know I'm a big Crypto.com fan. I love Crypto.com. I'm also a South Park fan, and they are ruthless when it comes to making fun of Matt Damon and Crypto.com.
Easy target.
Yeah, we've showed that on this channel before. It's right here.
What does Matt Damon say on that Bitcoin commercial? Fortune favors the brave.
My dad said he listened to Matt Damon and lost all his money.
Yes, everyone did, but they were brave in doing so.
I can just keep him home on pajama day?
No, I can't stay home because you have to go to work because fucking Matt Damon told you fortune favors the brave and now you lost all your fucking money.
Matt Damon told me fortune favors the brave and I lost all my fucking money.
We can do this.
We just have to be brave.
But not too brave or else Matt Damon will come and take all our money.
But, somebody finally caught up with him. I think this was just a couple of days ago, March 29th. Yeah, so last week, the Associated Press asked him a question about that, and he gave the first answer that I've really heard, the first time he's really acknowledged doing that commercial. And I like Matt Damon too. So I thought the answer was all right. I'll let you guys listen to it right here.
The story behind that for me personally was that we had a down year in water.org, and I did that commercial in an attempt to raise money for water.org, and I have to say, crypto.com, like I gave my whole salary to water.org because we were down, and crypto.com heard about that, and they gave $1 million to water.org, like completely just on their own. So I definitely have a lot of gratitude to them and for what they did for our foundation.
That was really painful.
Yeah. He you feel like actors would be better at talking to people in the public. I just assume there's a lot going around and he's at some sort of a premiere. So I'm sure that was also 3
Caught him
years
off guard.
ago. You know what I mean? So I assume he wasn't prepared for a crypto.com question. And he was very careful with his words because especially right now with people getting drug in, Jimmy Butler's getting drug in with Binance and Tom Brady's getting drug in with FTX. You can't just say, oh yeah, I love them. They're great. I trust them or you can't say stuff like that without risk of getting brought into, because you're a celebrity. So he was very careful with his words. And I think that was the primary issue was he was just being very careful with his words, but he expressed his gratitude. And he said, not only did he do it, and then he did that to raise money for his, I think it's a clean water charity, water.org. And he said on top of that, crypto.com threw in another $1 million just because.